Welcome to the Echo Driving School channel. This test route that we're doing today is a fairly new one. It's based in South Croydon and it's going towards Addington. They have been doing this test route quite a lot recently since the merger of Croydon Test Centre and Mitcham Test Centre. So it was previously a lot more to do with Croydon, but nowadays they're doing this in Mitcham as well. So this student did not pass her test. It was a really small judgment error and one that anybody can make. She has since passed, but naturally I thought it will be a good video for all you guys who are going for a test to try and have a look at this, memorize as much as possible, practice it with your instructor, and make sure that you are practicing the flyover a lot. Recently the examiners are pushing really hard for everybody to understand the flyover, and even as a driver you want to really make sure that you understand how to do this. So looking at her driving, she's deciding obviously when to come out. Remember, you are allowed to go halfway, but only do so if the right side is there's an opportunity and on the left there's an opportunity. So she took a good turn, and obviously making progress down the road. There's a little bit of traffic. I think her test was 1 or 2 o'clock from what I can remember. This is a summer test. Just haven't had time to edit the videos, so here I am. As I said, making progress, keeping a good distance from the car in front and making sure at all times you can see tyres and tarmac. As she's going along here, you've got the traffic lights, which I've said before, it's a pedestrian crossing, so make sure you're covering your brakes as you approach the traffic light. She's making good progress. There's good speed in her drive, which there was no issue with that at all. So where the route actually goes is, it would say roundabout, Lombard roundabout, third exit ahead, which is the flyover route. Just the car over there, you would have noted she did slow down and anticipate that the car could come out. There is a moped trying to come out there that she's obviously seen and part of the traffic as well. So a little bit of hazard perception as we get along here. So usual traffic, nothing much to say. She's kept a good distance, but probably a bit too much in my opinion. She could have done tyres and tarmac, but obviously she's making progress over here, which is fine. For anybody who doesn't know the area and is trying to learn, because a lot of people are coming from different areas. I myself am going Sidcup soon for a driving test. There's Bromley, there's Tolworth. Someone recently even said Herne Bay, which I was like, well, where the hell is that? Apparently it's in the coast somewhere. About 71 miles. So it's all over the country. People are looking for videos for help, and I'm hoping that they can check this out. So this road is a 30 miles an hour test route. As soon as you come out the test centre, if you turn right it's 30, if you turn left it's 30. As you come across here, there are going to be 2 lanes. This is known as the Lombard roundabout, and if you're going first exit you're going to stay on the left hand lane. If you are going second exit, which is the old Croydon Test Centre, or towards Mayday Hospital, you are taking the second exit. So for that one again you will maintain left lane, and then after the first exit you will check your mirror and give a signal. My student is going ahead third exit, and it will be signposted Croydon. Now, point to note, people who are new to sat navs, the sat nav will say ahead, cross the roundabout, third exit. So again, all that means is you're going ahead third exit. So it's a fairly busy one. The pedestrians she's looking out for. Remember here, it's all about looking for a safe gap. If you don't see a gap, no matter how busy it is, do not attempt to go. A lot of people do make the mistake of getting nervous, worrying about drivers behind you. You'll only get a hesitancy fault is if you missed an opportunity that was clear cut and you didn't go. But for any situation like here, you can use the cars on your right, at least 2 cars as blockers before you decide to go. If you don't have a 2 car and you have 1 large or long vehicle, then you should again attempt to use them as blockers before you decide to go. So as you can see, she's waiting here for a bit. It's not a problem at all, so you take your time. Obviously I can't see the right view, but I know she didn't fail for this, so she obviously did it at the correct time. That's the second exit on the left, and this is the third exit, Croydon. So obviously she checked her left mirror and she gave a signal. Remember the criteria, it is mirror, signal, maneuver. So it's not signal first and then check your mirrors, as quite a lot of people do tend to do that. So make sure you're always checking your center mirror and then your left hand mirror. And I always say also, as you're coming off and you've given a left signal, check your right mirror as well. So you've got a couple of pedestrian crossing, again just making progress, looking out for any cars. There's quite a few roads on the left in this area. This is a busy part of Croydon, and it's always fairly crawling. So again, if you're new to this area or coming in with your instructor, then make sure you're looking out for cars trying to come out from these side roads on the left, and there are plenty of shops, so there'll be obviously pedestrians around as well. This is also a 30 miles an hour road. The roads on the left and on the right are all 20. Now note here, as you come up to this junction and traffic lights here, there are 2 lanes. Now you can actually use either lane. The one the sat nav recommends is the right one, and it will say bear right. Now the reason why you want to use the right lane is there's no left turn, there's no right turn here, so therefore you can use the right lane. Just make sure you check your left mirror before you actually come out. Now we are approaching the dual carriageway. You've got the car showroom on the left and you've got the BP petrol pump on the right, so look out for again any merging vehicles that could be coming out like there. Now a point to note here is the sat nav does say bear right. Remember, that means the road is curving right, and do not make the mistake of going into the right hand lane, because at a dual carriageway you should always be on the left hand lane. Now this student of mine, she's obviously making good progress here. Now notice how 2 lanes are becoming 3. Now from here, as you can see at this point, you should actually move over. So check your left mirror and move over on the left. It's not a big deal if you can't do it straight away. As you can see, she does do it, but she takes a little bit of time before she decides to get into the left hand lane. And if there's nothing on the left and you manage to do it before you get to the traffic light, it's perfectly acceptable. This is a 40 miles an hour. This is the only 40 miles an hour that if you're doing the Mitcham test route that the examiners can make you do, because there is no other 40 miles an hour that they can reach within the time of the test. So again, make sure you are checking both of your side mirrors, because on a dual carriageway you are going to get fast moving traffic and you want to be spatially aware of your surrounding. When you are checking your mirrors, make sure that you are aware of any cyclist. Cyclists do use this dual carriageway as well. It's just gone amber, but because she's crossed the line, she was perfectly okay to make that progress. Now here, where the sat nav is actually telling her to go is cross the roundabout, second exit, and the signpost that you will see if you want to freeze frame it or if you want to look up the area is called Addington. And this is where I'm going to talk a bit more, because this is where the point of where she actually fails, and it's a really silly thing to actually fail on, but if you don't notice it, then you can easily fail on it. So the examiner does give her small guidance and says it's Addington, second exit. So she moves over to the left as correctly, obviously no signal on approach. she's looking to the right, and it's a big roundabout, so you know, if you want to slow down to check, by all means do so. And then over here, be careful again, it's a wide roundabout and then it becomes quite narrow as you get through. So over here, she takes the left turn correctly in the left lane, and the sat nav says turn left. Now there is 2 roundabouts here, so make sure that here I've freeze framed it. Now what you can see is you need to stop here, look at the right, and this is where she failed, because she did not look right at the roundabout at all. So to reiterate, make sure that you look on the right. There is a pedestrian crossing here, so obviously naturally if there is someone there, do stop. This road, as you're approaching, this is going towards South Croydon, you're going to be coming up to a traffic light, so make sure you're preparing yourself to slow down for the traffic light. It's a fairly easy road from here. You're just again following the sign for Addington. There is a keep clear here, so obviously bear that in mind as you go up the road. Now in this traffic light here, afterward there is a box junction, so if in busy times you have to stop, then make sure you stop before the box junction, and you know, bear your highway code in mind when you're doing it. So as you go up this hill, this road will lead you up to 2 mini roundabouts. Again, fairly straightforward. The sat nav will say ahead at the first roundabout, and then it will say turn left at the second roundabout. It's just after this traffic light. So make sure if you are anybody who's doing a manual, this is an auto car, so if anybody's doing a manual car, this is a fairly hilly area, so handbrake on and a hill start you will need to do. So anybody doing a petrol car, make sure you're doing clutch control, so find the biting point, set the gas, and then release the handbrake and more gas as you progress. So it's just turned green again, we're making progress ahead. This road is a 30 miles an hour road, so down South Croydon there are a fair amount of roads that are 30, and obviously a few 20s as well, so make sure you are looking out for road signs as you make progress ahead. Down here, the roundabout that I was talking about, we're just coming up to that approach. At the roundabout, the sat nav will say ahead, so just waiting for the video to catch up with where it is. So you've got a pedestrian crossing beforehand, so she did the right thing, she slowed down, she's probably checking her mirrors at this moment and making progress. After this zebra crossing, there will be the roundabout that I just have spoken about, so let the video catch up to where I'm saying. The sign is not there at the moment, but the sign is there, and you'll see a mini roundabout sign that will tell you that you're approaching a mini roundabout. So there's the sign, and obviously you got the other signs to tell you to give way. Make sure you are looking right. It's quite a small roundabout, but you know, easily you could miss if there's a car on the right, so you just go past that, and then you've got the second mini roundabout, and you are doing a left at this mini roundabout. So again, make sure you're looking on your right and making progress. The roads down here are actually quite big and nice. It feels like more of a rural area, so obviously this is the other side of South Croydon. So speed, making progress, 30 miles an hour, and then she's going to go into one of the right turns. It's where one of the schools is, I can't remember the name, but on that road the examiner did ask her to do an emergency stop. So as the video progresses, I'll show you, I'll tell you about where she's going to do an emergency stop, and after that the route is fairly simple. It goes around obviously through the various roads of South Croydon. You've got some elements of the big roundabouts coming up, and then the route loops back towards the test centre, and you know, she makes progress, and she's given her fate. So yeah, look at the rest of the videos. There's not much to say. I will just sign out here, and you can see just the video, and enjoy the actual music in the background as you're watching it. Thanks for watching. Until next time, thank you.